collaboration. And what I wanted to do was just start out with a daily sprinkle that I shared a couple weeks ago. Because this week we're going to be talking about desire. And last week we talked about letting go, but we're going to talk a little bit more about desire and lowering importance so that your desire comes to you easily. So I was thinking about what have I posted, and I thought this one was great. When I was looking for it, I couldn't find it. But as soon as I stopped looking, it found me. And that's the law of attraction. That's what this is all about, allowing your desires to come to you. So, hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Last week, I had an opportunity to share lots of bumped it to the mic, sorry. Last week, I had an opportunity to share lots of letting go stories. And I personally think that, there are so many important parts to this whole manifestation process, but I think the letting go piece is so challenging because if you think about it, what led you to this channel and what will lead you to The Secret, how many people learned about the law of attraction, and Dr. Joe Dispenza, you essentially have a desire and you want to figure out how can you manifest it. So then you come to my channel, or as you learn about the law of attraction, you realize that part of allowing that thing, whatever it is, to manifest is letting go. So I want to continue to talk about letting go and just an aspect which is lowering, an aspect of letting go, which is lowering importance. So you'll see I got a different background going on because it's all about, it's March. It's all about being in a calm space, because when you're in a calm, tranquil space, you are really primed for great manifestations. So, and then plus my mom was like, you need to change it up. It's March. So when my mom brought that to my attention, I said, you know what? I think that's a pretty good idea. I love the background that I had before, but hey, when you're virtual, you can go anywhere you want. You can, have any type of ambiance you want. So this is what we're rolling with for March, and, we'll see, what I have. We'll see what happens in April if I keep it going, but I'm loving the water. So again, thank you. I see that a few more have come in. I see Cami Cam. I see Miss TLC, Dark Paradox. Let's see, anybody? Almond Joy, Mama Margaret Dorsey, my wonderful mother-in-law. Thank you so much for everyone joining. So, like I said earlier, we're going to talk about desire, but we're going to talk about letting go, but we're going to talk about it as it relates to desire and lowering your importance, because, we talk about like, okay, I've got the desire and you're telling me that I need to let go, but how do I let go of something that I really want? And that's the work. That's the challenge. So I hope to share some things that you'll be able to take and practice and really think about. It's still. And my VP of technology is really working out this lighting, so bear with us. That really messed it up. No, okay. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna roll with it. So where was I? So what I like to do is just do a quick recap on the law of attraction. What is it? And I'm gonna make this part really quick because I've gone into great detail in my last episodes that you can check out on Twitch, and they will be uploaded to YouTube. This is all new to me, and I didn't realize that the video editing process of getting this, edited, sliced, diced to go up to YouTube, it's longer and more work than I anticipated. So I had hoped to have it up, everything loaded on YouTube by now, but not yet. I will put, I'll put a message out on social media. Kalila Starks Adams on Facebook, and Kalila at Kalila Starks on Instagram. And I will put out a notice when that information, when everything is uploaded to YouTube. But in the meantime, you can go right over to Twitch. You can go right over to my page, rather. We're on Twitch. You can go to my page, and you can look at all of the videos that I've done, and I've talked in great detail about the law of attraction and about just the process, what it is. So what I'm going to do now is just go really quick, just to give everybody a refresher, quick reminder. So basically, there are few steps to law of attraction. And law of attraction is really simple. It's like attracts like. So when I'm vibing high, which essentially means I'm feeling great, then I am positioned to manifest great things. So the better I feel, the better the manifestations roll in and come to me. On the flip side, when I'm feeling bad and I consistently stay feeling bad for a while, because your emotions are your first clue as to what's going to happen. If you want to know what track you're on in terms of what type of manifestations are going to be coming to you, just ask yourself, how have you been feeling? If you've been feeling frustrated and stressed and angry, and everybody that comes into your life just brings situations and experiences that make you even more angry, then that's the path that you're on, and you're going to manifest more than that. And the universe is great. It brings you experiences so that it tells you, okay, this is the path you're on. So you have a decision. You can either stay on this path if you like what's happening, or you can go and get on another path. And that other path, when things are not feeling when things aren't feeling good, is getting on the path to feeling good. And the feeling good is one of the highest vibrations is love. That unconditional love, the feeling that you have for your children, your grandchildren, the feelings that you have for the passion, the positive belief, expectation. As you start to feel that way, then you are on your path to great things. Again, your feelings are really, that's the secret. They talk about feelings are the secret. Neville Goddard says feelings are the secret. That's exactly it. Your feelings tell you where you're going. So the manifestation process is really simple. One, you start out with a desire, and that desire could be you want a car. You want a new home. You want to get booed up, like you're ready for love. It could be any of those things. It could be something as simple as coffee from Starbucks. Like, it could be really simple. And then once you have that desire, there's an ask that happens. And that ask can be unconscious, or it can be conscious or unconscious. So essentially, you can pray. That's more of a conscious way of asking. Pray and ask God for this blessing to be sent to you. Or it's just as simple as, I had a bad experience, and in my heart, I want a better experience. I haven't really thought about it, but you just kind of shoot, as Abraham Hicks says, you shoot a rocket of desire into the universe. Like, I'm having this bad experience, so I'd like a better experience. And then the next step is the alignment. And that's what I focus on, are the techniques, the strategies, so that you align with your desires and ultimately manifest whatever it is that you want. So an alignment is all about getting on the right frequency. Everything that you want is on a certain frequency. And if you are on the frequency of anger, and what you want is on the frequency of love, enthusiasm, it's going to be a while, before you get to that thing that you want, because you're on a totally different frequency. So you can't even perceive what the universe is trying to send you. So that's why I focus on the alignment piece, so that you can align with your desires. So last week I talked about letting go. I talked about the book, David R. Hawkins, Letting Go. And I know that a few of you purchased it, which I'm excited about. If you purchased it and you started reading it, please let me know, because I think that it's... My what? Oh, goodness. Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay. Sorry about that. If you have read it, if you start reading it, please let me know how you love it. And I'm making the assumption that you love it, because it's like one of the best books that I have ever read. I've looked at so many videos, I've taken courses, and Letting Go is one of my favorites. So I'd love to hear what, how has it been? I can tell you that it gets really juicy. The first couple chapters start out like really, just kind of providing you the framework around emotions so that you kind of understand. It sets up the case, which I think is fabulous, just the way that they set everything up. But it really gets juicy with each chapter, because you'll start to read and you'll start to kind of reflect on your life and even the lives of people that you know. And you're like, oh my gosh, like this is very real, very powerful. So for those of you who have started reading the book, let me know. And one thing that he talks about, and one of the chapters talked about this last week, desire, especially strong desire, really craving something, actually blocks you from what you want. So when you really, really want something, you are sending a message to the universe that I don't have it. Because if you want something, you don't have it. So in law of attraction, like attracts like, it's literally a mirror. So if I'm really craving and desiring something, then that means I don't have it. And I'm feeling that I don't have it. And then the universe responds, you don't have it, and gives you more experiences showing you that you don't have it. But as you start to lower your desire, as you start to focus on intention, realizing that it is your choice, it's your decision for whatever it is you want, then that is actually the energy that opens things up. It's essentially saying to the universe, when you start to desire something less, then essentially you are saying, you're putting the energy that you start to put out is, I have it. You're no longer putting out the energy of, I don't have it. And the universe, which always agrees with you, will agree and say, that is correct. And will bring exactly what it is you desire. So the whole point in aligning, a big piece of aligning, is getting out of the desire. And here's the thing. Desire isn't a bad thing. That's how you come, your initial response to not having something is you desire it. But what happens is, instead of identifying a desire and then letting it go, what we tend to do, many of us, we hold on to that desire and we crave it. And the more that it doesn't come, we notice that it's not here and we want it even better. And it just becomes this thing that's burning. And it's this, I just really want this. And the more you want it, it doesn't come. So if you could just think about desiring as a good thing, I desire, so this is good. Now I know I want this. I had this experience. I didn't like it. So now I know what I do want, which is a desire. But at this point, I can let go and I can believe that it is happening. So when you desire less, you stop sending that signal, that message to the universe that I don't have it. And then that way you actually get it. It's the craziest thing. That's one of the things that when I learned, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've been doing this all wrong. So importance is one of the, importance is like a huge, huge piece. I've read a couple of books, and importance, if you look at any law of attraction teachers, they will talk a lot about importance. And here's the thing, the higher your importance, the higher your importance, the more obstacles and struggles you invite into your experience. Okay? Because I'm making this so important that I'm actually making it hard for the very thing that I want to come to me. And as I make it so important, I invite struggle and I invite obstacles into my life, which will keep that very thing from coming to me. On the flip side, when you have low importance, when you lower your importance around your desire, you actually allow that thing to come to you. You take the energy out of not having it, that as you lower it, and that is the very thing that allows it to come. So people have used this to heal themselves. They've used this to manifest jobs. They've used this to manifest money. they've used these principles, and it really comes down to a decision. It really comes down to, it's just a decision. There's certain things with the law of attraction, and you like, okay, well, what's the process? What's the practice? And some of it really is just a decision that you got to make in order to lower that importance. And I forgot to mention earlier in the show that if you have questions, you can send them to Vince. You can put them in the chat, or you can whisper him if you want your questions, answered confidentially. It's your choice, because I will be, saving some time at the end to answer any questions that I get. And the questions that you have, it doesn't have to be about desire, importance. It can be pretty much about anything with law of attraction, or any experiences that you may be going through right now that you want, kind of some help with from an energetic standpoint. So we talked about high importance and low importance. So, of course, the answer in this is I've got a lower importance. And it sounds easier than what it is, because sometimes we have a really hard time making that decision, but it's one of the best decisions that you'll ever make. The number one way, and there are a few steps to lowering importance, a few ways you can lower importance. And the number one way is faith. There's no way getting around. There's no way to get around faith. Faith really is the decision to ignore the logic, ignore what is happening, ignore what you see, whether it's whatever you're experiencing, whatever someone else has experienced, whatever experiences your family has had, whatever experiences you've ever had. Faith requires you to ignore all of that, and to be so convicted in that faith, where you really, really believe and say to yourself, I don't know how this is going to happen, but it's going to happen. And that's something that's a decision. That's what it comes down to, because here's the thing. If you listen to your mind is like, show me the money. But faith is in your heart. Faith is like, I don't need to see the money. I don't need to see anybody else with money to know that this is done. And it's just a matter of time before this comes to me. When you can really surrender with faith, that is what allows the floodgates to open. And it's a decision that you make. It's a decision to not be so consumed with, well, how is this going to happen? Because if you think about it, our mind is very powerful, but if you let your mind control what's happening, you will be in a bad situation. Like, you will find yourself not really allowing the greatness of what God has for you, what the universe has for you. So your mind wants evidence. Your mind wants evidence. Your mind wants to be able to point to something in your life or someone close to you where this has happened. That's your mind wants this. But your mind can't, in most instances, for really big stuff, there are so many things. Your mind has only been able to collect data points for you and the small circle of people around you. And if you watch the news, those are data points that you're taking in, but the news is giving you the news that they want you to have. So your data is so limited. And if you allow your mind to make a decision or your mind to decide what is possible, you are missing out on so much, because you don't know everything, and there's no way that you can possibly know all of the ways that something can happen. But because our mind is so strong, our mind wants evidence. Our mind wants to see this has happened before it can accept that it's happened. Well, that's not how you manifest. When you manifest powerfully, powerfully, it is really accepting that there is something much bigger than you, that knows so much more than you, that will make things happen, that's working on your behalf, so you don't have to know everything. And that is a decision that you have to make with this. And that's why I put it as one. There's no, I am this and I'm going to get it. It all starts with faith. And then all that other stuff, that other stuff is very, very important. But that faith piece, you can't get away from it. And if you allow your mind to make the decision on what's possible, then you cut off a lot of amazing things that can happen for you. So faith is the number one thing. Faith is, I don't need to know how it's happening. I don't need to, but I'm just going to believe that some way, somehow, this is happening. I've made the choice. I've made the decision for this, and it's going to happen. And then it's letting go. It's the relinquishing of control. A lot of us, many of us are control freaks. We want to control everything because if it's within my ability to do something, then I feel comfortable. If I can control this, if I can go A, B, C, D, and then that gets me to E, and E is where I'm going, then that's comfortable. That feels good. But when I got to get to Z and I don't know exactly what's coming before, then that's out of my control, and that doesn't feel so good. But what you have to do is really relinquish that control. You have to let it go. You have to be willing to accept that I've got a job and the universe has a job, and I'm going to mind my own business. I posted about this yesterday. I'm going to mind my own business. And I'm going to let everything else happen. And if I mind my own business and I stay in my business of faith, I will be led to whatever I need to do next in order to get to where I'm trying to go. And that's really what it comes down to. So there's that fear, when we think about letting go, it almost can feel, it's fearful, like I said earlier. Sometimes it feels like it's irresponsible, because if this thing is so important to me, if I need this thing, if I feel that I need this thing so bad, then for me to let go and for me to care less about it, it feels irresponsible, and it almost feels like if I don't hold on to it in my mind, because all you're doing is holding on to it in your mind. That's it. But if I don't hold on to it in my mind, and I don't keep it at the forefront of my mind, then I'm not going to come up with the solution that I need to come up with in order to get to where I'm going. So I've got to keep this thing here so that things will come to me and I can take all of these steps in order to get there. You drive yourself crazy during the process. And if you don't drive yourself crazy, you work so much more harder for something than you have to. When you're willing to just let it go, and accept that I don't have to think about this thing all the time, I don't have to focus on it all the time, then that actually frees up your energy space for the creative ideas that will come, for the things that happen outside of, for the things that just come to you. I was telling Vince earlier, I was like, it's crazy. Like, most of the big things that have happened for me, I didn't do anything. Like, it was just it just came, like the examples that I talked about last week with everything. It just, the moving, from Chicago to Champaign, the job, making, $80,000 more. Like, I didn't even apply for that. Somebody else applied on my behalf because I wasn't moving fast enough. Like, everything that I was supposed to have, I had, and it came so effortlessly. Was there something for me to do? Absolutely. But it was just so small in comparison to all of the things that I could have done. When I was single, and ready to mingle, there was nothing going on. And my friends who love me and knew that I was amazing and that I should be with someone, they would say, you should get on Match. You should do this. You need to do that. You're not going to find a man on your couch. You're not going to do this. You need to, you're going to have to go on 50 dates in order to, meet the one, which was everything was told to me out of love and caring, because my friends, they love me. They wanted to see me with someone, especially my girlfriends who were not single. They're enjoying their relationships, their partnerships, so they want me to have that enjoyment for myself, and they're giving me these ideas, and nothing was really resonating with me. At that point, I was really into, law of attraction, really into understanding vibration and focusing on how I felt. And I'm like, it's just something's telling me not to go on Match. That was just a level of effort that just didn't resonate with me. Not to say, like I said in a previous episode, I have friends that have met online. I actually have a friend that met online, and she may have just celebrated close to 15 years, something like close to 10 years, something like that, with her husband that she met online. So that's not to say that it doesn't happen. But for me, my spirit wasn't led there, because my husband was right under my nose. I was friends with him and I just didn't even know, So when you really start to focus on faith and focus on just the believing piece and the vibrational piece, you'll find the most magical things will happen, and they'll come with such great ease. And is there something for you to do? Absolutely. But you'll find that it's less effort in the process. And that's why I've been so passionate about doing these episodes, because I really want to show everyone the different, I really want to show you all that you don't have to work so hard for what you want. Yes, there are things that you will have to do, but the biggest piece of what you'll have to do is feel good and let go. That's so bizarro if you think about it. The biggest thing for anything that I want is to feel good and let go, so I know exactly what I need to do, and I can avoid all that extra stuff that I've been doing that I thought I needed to do, but I didn't even need to do it to get there. Yes, that's what it comes down to. So there's a fear when you think about letting go. There's the fear of, if I let go, I might not get it because I'm not thinking about it. And if I don't think about it, I don't have the solution. And it's actually the opposite. Okay? So there's that fear that you focus on letting that go, so that you can let it go. And in letting it go and in not thinking about it, you actually allow an even better solution to come to you. And then there's that love piece of really trusting that what you want is coming, and you don't have to have it right now. It's gonna come when it should come. You don't want things to come before you're ready or before you're ready for it, because that can be confusion. I wanted my man when he was ready for me, and he came when he was ready for me. We got together, we started dating in January, and we started talking about rings, month or two into it. And because I had already had my ring picked out, because I had a great level of belief about, just the process happening for me, he was like, so I like this ring. That's not it. Let me show you what I like. So let me show you the types of rings that I like. So we talked about rings, second month in. He can correct me in the chat if he wants, but maybe second month, I don't know. And by month 6, by June, we were engaged. So we got together when he was ready. I was ready, but he had to be ready. So that year that I spent, pretty much, like not having anything, and anybody knows Chicago summer nights are like the best. The weather sucks in the winter, but once spring hits, and especially summer, there's nothing about summertime shy. Kanye told y'all, and there is nothing like it. And to spend summertime shy single, when many of your girlfriends do have, they did have boyfriends or husbands. So there were some, nice Chicago nights where it would have been really nice to have someone, and I would go home and think to myself, like, oh, so nice out. This is like the perfect night to like be with someone. But instead, I'm in watching TV. But that was what but because I was going through that process, I knew, I'm like, you know what? I just got to find the silver lining in this. I just got to be okay with this. And it'll come when it's supposed to come. And it did. Summertime shy was blah, from a dating standpoint, but it heated on up in the winter. So that's what, that's what happens. But it takes a certain level of faith, as you're going through that process. And it's a decision. It's not a 55 times 5, technique, strategy. It's faith. So, let's see. So the next thing, if you've been wanting something for a while, like you've been wanting a, whatever it is, and it's been a while, it hasn't been coming. Oh, goodness. I see a raid coming in. Miss Ty Dior. Ty Dior. That's how you say it. I need to practice a little bit more. But thank you, Miss Ty Dior, for raiding me. Everybody, definitely follow Miss Ty Dior. I was actually in her room Sunday, and had a great time. So if you're looking for those of you that are, I know I have a lot of vets in here in this room, but for any of you that have ventured over to Twitch, I have a few of my friends that have ventured over to Twitch for this show. Please do follow her. She has, I know she has a lot of different types of events, but the events that I sat on was questions about relationships, and it got really interesting. So definitely give her a follow. So, left off at, so what happens? You've been wanting something for a while, or you're really wanting something bad. You just can't let go. What do? One of the first things that you can do is ask yourself, why do you want it so badly? Because what's interesting is oftentimes what's at the root of what we want is not necessarily that. So I'll give you an example. A friend of mine called me a few days ago, and I'm not going to give you like the details or anything, the down and down details, but a friend of mine called me a few days ago, and she's trying to figure out where is she, going to move. She's looking at moving to literally different parts of the country and has not been able to make up her mind. She has kind of I'd say a 1A and a 1B, because both of them are pretty close in terms of where she'd like to be, but the 1A is, edging out for her own personal reasons as a little bit higher. And she has competing opportunities coming in from both places, and she's kind of in this place of limbo. Very talented. So, I'm like, I know you'll be fine. And talking to her, she's like, I don't know which opportunity. I don't know. And in talking to her, I said, you know what? I know you're focused on the job. I know you're focused on the move, but when I'm listening to you, at the root of what you want is clarity. You want clarity. You want to be clear about whatever decision you need to make. And she said, wow, yeah, that's exactly what I want. And it just took having that conversation. So it wasn't about am I trying to take this VP role or this SVP role or this C-suite role? It really was clarity. I want clarity around what city do I move to? I want clarity around what position do I take? And I got off she's like, wow, I hadn't thought about it. And so I told her, I said, instead of focusing on these jobs, because you know that this is happening, focus on the clarity that you do have in your life, because that's really what you want to focus on. Those are the feelings that you want to focus on, so that you know exactly what it is. You know that thing when it comes. And she said, wow. I said, so find the things in your life where you already have clarity. Where are the areas of your life where you have clarity? And start to be grateful for those areas. Start to focus on those areas of clarity, because as you focus on, as you find the clarity already in you, already in your experience, you will, as you focus on it, whatever you focus on grows. So if you're choosing to focus on clarity, then that will continue to grow. Well, now she's looking at, she's very close to securing an opportunity. And it's looking pretty good. And she's got clarity around, what she wants. She's taken that focus on that thing. I've got to find a job. I've got to move. I've got to do this, to what I really want is clarity. What I really want is to feel a certain way, and now she's feeling that way. So start asking yourself, why is it that I want these? Why is it that I want this thing? I want money, but why is it that I really want money? I want money for freedom. I want money to, be able to choose. I want this. Well, money can come to you in several different ways. It doesn't have to be that way that you're thinking that it has to come to you. So think about why you want it. And think about what are the feelings that you are trying to gain from that, and start to focus on that. And really, it's I'm telling you, you got to have faith that it'll happen. But one of the easiest ways for me to just really let go is to be okay with it not happening. Because in it not happening, then there must be something better. Because whatever is for me, it's gotta come. So if this thing that I've had a desire for, if it really is for me, then it's gonna come. And if it doesn't, then oh well, okay, that obviously wasn't for me. There's something that's even better. And when you can start to really focus on, to start to let go and to be okay with whatever that alternative may be, because oftentimes you think you want something, but if you get it, it would be a disaster. So you just kind of put it up there and you allow whatever it is to come to you. And if it's good for you, if it is good for you, it will come to you. It's just a matter of really having that faith and saying, I'm okay with whatever happens. And the most important thing is, and being okay, is letting whatever the situation is right now, letting it be. So right now, in my mind, right now may not be ideal. Because I've identified a better alternative in my mind of what would be better. So in identifying what would be better, now whatever I'm experiencing is not necessarily ideal, because I've identified what's ideal. Well, when you are in this place in between your manifestation, you are in your current reality and you are moving towards your manifestation, that is your period that's like your wait. And as you are waiting for that thing to happen, it's really important for you to allow whatever it is right now to be. Excuse me. Even if you identify it as this is not ideal, when you let it be and you're okay with it, then you are no longer sending that negative energy out into the universe, because whatever you send out comes right back to you. So if you're saying, I don't want this, the universe says, you don't want this, you don't want this. Here it is, you don't want this. So in order to stop that, then you just become okay with what is going on. And you'd be surprised what you can be okay with. And the reality is, whatever you're living, you're okay. Like whatever you're living with right now, it's got to be okay, because that's just what it is. Like there have been so many instances in my life where I'm like, something's got to go. This has to change. But the reality is it doesn't, because I'm doing fine. I'm existing. But in my mind, I've made my mind up that something has to change. But part of being a very powerful manifester is actually finding that okay place in your current situation, so that you are no longer identifying with the lack. You're no longer identifying with not having it. Because if I say, I don't like my current situation, I don't like it, I want something to change, then that's just the energy that I just continue to put out. But if I'm okay with what's going on and I'm focused on the silver lining and I'm just finding something in my life to focus on, I'm finding something in my life to be happy about, to be grateful about, then that's actually the energy that invites that very thing and even more. So that's, that's the piece of, that's the letting go with love. It's the, I have faith that what I've asked for is coming. And the best way for me to create, because you are creating your reality, is to focus on the love, focus on whatever it is I'm wanting to feel, whatever this thing is that I think it's going, whatever this thing is, whatever it means for me. If getting this thing makes me feel relief, like, oh God, I'll be so relieved when this happens, or I'll be so happy, excited, then what I've got to focus on is, I've got my faith, but now I'm focusing on aligning with the feelings of whatever that represents. Because as I align with those feelings, as I find the places in my life that I can be grateful about, that represent love, that represent excitement. And like I said in an episode, a couple episodes back, that excitement can be from 20 years ago. You can, if you feel like the last 10 years have been a bust and you just can't think, or 20 years, but you know what? I can think of that childhood, those childhood memories that felt really good. Whatever it is you need to find those emotions that you're looking for, then that's what you do while you're waiting, because that's the alignment piece. So as you let go, you allow the problem to be, and then you focus on what it is that you want to feel next. So I talked a little bit earlier about intention. Well, actually, let me back up, because I want to say this. Power is being able to feel happy and whole without your wish granted. And that's the whole name of the game. It is feeling those things, whether in good or bad. I just had a conversation with my daughter. I was like, when you get to the point where no matter what's going on, I can find my place of peace, that is your power. Because the reality is life will send you so much stuff, because we are playing in the sandbox of life with so many people, so many experience, and so many experiences happen. As you vibe high, you will open yourself up to those higher level feelings, but there are some things that are just going to happen. But your power comes from being able to look at those experiences, and your first emotional response may be anger, it may be frustration, like, really, I can't believe this happened. But then you've got the tools, you choose what's next. You choose how you're going to predominantly feel. So this happened and this is effed up, but I get to choose what's next. And it may take me a minute, how big it is, but I get to choose what's next in terms of how I feel. And when you know that it doesn't matter what's going on around me, I can pull out the happiness, I can pull out the excitement, I can pull out those things. That is where your power is in life. And you will start to see so many amazing things happen when you start to work with that power and flex that power. So I talked earlier about intention when we first started, and intention really is your choice, your desire. I have an intention to do this. So you can have, when you have so intention is, this is what I'm choosing, or this is what I'm deciding, okay? And when you have a high intention, so this is what it is, this is what, this is what I'm choosing, this is what I'm deciding, and that you have lowered your desire, and that you're like, when it happens, in whatever way it happens, I'm good, because I know that that's where I'm going. That's actually what opens up the floodgates for your desire to just come on in. So I'll give you an example. And I'm not going to go into great example because I talked a lot about it last episode. But as many of you know, Vince and I got married last year in August during a pandemic. It was very challenging for us to find a venue. I was actually encouraged to wait, to postpone it even further. We had already postponed, and I'm, being encouraged to postpone it even further because it was difficult for me. It was difficult to find, for our planner to find a venue. Well, at that point, I knew I was getting married. Like, I'm like, I'll find some place outside and the preacher can meet us. We can say our dues, and then our parents can meet, like our family can meet us for dinner, but we're going to do it. So my choice, my decision was I'm getting married. Like, it just didn't even, all that other stuff. Like, I had my ideas. Like I said before, like I knew what I want my wedding dress to look like. And my wedding dress didn't really fit what you would wear in a park. But at that point, I just didn't care. I'm like, I'm getting married. So I was doing the choosing. I was making the decision. My intention was high. And my desire around venues was very low because I'm like, I know what's going to happen. And because of that, a great venue, amazing venue came. And Vince, he's in the event business. He's done hundreds of weddings. And he said, wow, like, he's like, I've done lots of weddings. He's like, I've never tasted food like this. Like, it's just the way that everything was laid out was amazing. But at that point, I'm like, I don't care. Like, we're going to get married somewhere. And because of that, we got like the best venue. Like, it was dope. So when you have that intention, that strong intention, like this is what's going to happen. And I'm focused on what I need to do. So my choice was, I'm getting married, whatever. So I just start, me and my girlfriend, we went to places on the lake to look at different areas on the lake. We went to parks. We looked at, and that was it. But it was just like, it doesn't matter. It's going to come together some way. I didn't do a lot of searching, and I just trusted that, the woman that we're working with, she's done amazing events. So I'm sure that she'll figure it out, but I've got other things to do. So I focused on actually I got to get married. I already knew I was getting married. I focused on everything that I felt like I needed to focus on. Okay, it's COVID. We need less than 25. Who's going to be the 25? Okay, I have a very big family, so that cuts out all the cousins. Let's get the guest list together. I need Sydney. Sydney spends every summer with her dad in Maryland. So I got to get her back in time for the wedding. So let's identify the date. We focused on everything that felt good, that made sense, and just knew that everything else would come together the way that it needed to. And when you feel like you are choosing and you're making the decision and you're not focused on, I gotta get married, but I'm focused on everything that I need to do, that's what happens. Another example, really quickly, and I'll go back to Danielle's example from at Healing Sea Moss. She's on Instagram for any of you all that want your sea moss. Danielle went from 400 subscribers to she's at 23,000 subscribers. No social media experience. She took her eye off of that number. She knew she wanted to have a really big following, but she's been, she loves Abraham Hicks as I do and loves Law of Attraction, all that stuff. And she thought to herself, you know what, if I focus on this number, I just know this is not what I need to do. Let me focus on, this is what I want. Let me focus on what I can do. And her thing began, okay, I want to have the best sea moss. So let me, continue to make sure the sea moss is, what I'm doing is good. And, have the best quality ingredients for my customers. And then I want to be able to put information out that people would like, that will give them the knowledge that they need to be healthy. So her intention was never, oh, I've got to get 10,000, I've got to get to 20,000. It really was, I want to have a superior product and I want to put information out that will be helpful to people. Somebody actually had to tell her that she was close to 10,000 people. So this is somebody that started at 400 and had no idea that they had gotten to 10,000 in 15 months. And I think another 3 months after that, she was at 23,000 because she was not concerned about the numbers. So those are just two examples I've talked about, but you see that I'm focusing on, I've got that great intention. I've got that high intention that this is going to happen. And so I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to do, not worry. I'm going to do the steps that feel natural to me, that are more the no-brainers, and allow that to come to me when it's time. And as I continue to take whatever steps feel natural to me, I bumped the mic. Whenever I continue, do the things that are natural to me, then I'll have another idea that comes, but I'm not going to fixate on that thing that I think I want, whether it's the ring, the massive Twitch following, we're on Twitch, whether it's the massive Twitch following, it's the, what's the rank, partner, whether it's the partner or whether it's, I'm not going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on the steps that I should be focused on that feel good for me, which is putting great information out and having fun. So that's the high intention, low desire. But then when you flip it, you've got your low intention. I don't really feel like I'm making a choice here. I'm not making a decision, but I've got a really burning high desire. I really want this. When you are in that space, that's actually what pushes it off from actually coming. So as you think about letting go, think about shifting. I'm going to focus more on the movement of what I need to do to get to where I'm going, as opposed to fixating on where I need to go. Weight loss is a big one. I could sit and focus on this number that I want to be at, or I could focus on, I need to do these things, and I'm going to accept myself where I am. It is what it is. I love myself. It's good. I'll be a little chunky for as long as I need to be chunky, but I'm going to focus on the things that I need to be. And I'm not going to worry about this number. I'm going to just do what makes, I'm going to take the next steps. I'm going to get on the Peloton. I'm going to dance, during Vince's streams. Yesterday, I danced for an hour. I was like, you know what? I'm always sitting here during his late lunch mix. I should get up and dance. So I myself, in my weight loss journey, I'm like, you know what? Instead of focusing on getting to this number, focus on the intention. That number is yours. There's just some movement, for real movement, that you should be focused on. Focus your energy there, not on, I need to be this size, these clothes don't fit, but these clothes, leave that out the equation. So whatever it is, just realize that as you increase your intention and you focus on the choice and decision that you're making, the movement of getting to where it is, as opposed to fixating on that thing that you want, that is the power. That is actually part of the lowering of importance, and that allows it to come in. So the last piece, of course, when there are times of acute pain, there are times when things like this has to happen now. Like if it doesn't happen, it's life or death. You feel like, oh, I'm just in a corner. At that point, and I've actually done this for pain. I've actually, thankfully I don't experience too much pain, but I've done this for pain where I'm like, you know what? I can actually resist this pain, or I can just sit and allow this pain to be. And what is really interesting is as I sat and I allowed the pain to just exist and to be okay with it, it went away. It's just the weirdest thing. It's like whenever you start resisting something, you are actually allowing whatever it is you're desiring. So even in pain, as you focus on, and like I said, I've experienced this, I've done this. As I observed the pain and I was okay with the pain, and I thought to myself, you know what? This is just, what it is, and I'm observing the pain. It just left. So a big case for just letting go, even in those acute places, because when we're in pain, we just like, we're flinched and we want it to stop. We stop. But in actually doing that, and that is actually the energy that doesn't allow it to dissipate and leave. But when you can be in your calm state and you actually observe it and you're okay with it, you'd be surprised how it just leaves. So letting go, I mean, in all aspects of my life, I've seen how it works. I mean, and it's cool because like I said, I've done all the studying, but now I see that, and as I apply these things, I'm like, this is real. This is not theory. This is very real. So that's let's see. That's it. The last thing I'll say, just getting back to the mind versus faith. The mind needs evidence, and you've got to allow your faith to overrule your mind, because your mind will say it's not possible, and you've got to overrule it, and you get the choice to say who wins. Does your mind win and you create small, or does your faith win and you create big? You get to choose.